Hey, I'm Shanice Nicole.
Hi, I'm Leslie Nicole.
And I'm Tony Ann.
And today we're going to talk about Black women and friendships.
And why they're so important to us.
Mm-hmm. And how we support each other.
So I met both of you in 2015. I think I met you first in like the end of the school year.
Okay.
The end of the year in McGill, and I then met you later on in 2015 at, I think, a friend's house. I think
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember the exact moment, but 2015 is right.
2015.
And I met Tony Ann actually in an interview. I was helping to run the Sense project at Head and Hands, the sex ed program, and Tony walked into the room, and my heart kind of like fluttered a little bit. I was really excited to see like this black girl, and she had this amazing twist out, and I was just like, oh my god, we have to choose her. So maybe I was a little biased, but.
And Shanice and Leslie just have changed my life, and I'm just excited for this. Okay, I have to just continue.
Yeah.
Actually, the first time I met Tony, like I had the same kind of reaction, the same kind of, okay, look at this light. The light shines upon
It's
us.
like tons out of her.
And the hair always fly. I don't know if you guys can see the baby hair, but it's popping.
Those edges.
She's giving Chili a run for her money. I grew up here in Montreal. I grew up going to a school that was predominantly white.
Same.
And in grade 5, I don't remember what it was that happened. Towards the end of grade 5, I started, I think, hanging out with like more of like black people, and then I was going away to Barbados for 3 weeks. And I don't know, I just came back and I just like made the conscious decision that okay, there's a difference here. Like I already knew there was a difference growing up. You definitely feel that still, even though we're in Canada or whatever ideas people have about that. And I made the decision, okay, black. When you get into high school, starting in grade 7, black people. Like
So this is you at like
wow.
11?
Wow.
Or I don't know how old.
10?
Wow.
10? Yeah,
That's
I
wild.
was like,
That's
this
so
is
amazing.
no. I've always been like a very like lazy person, and the kind of craziness that I would see in these friendships, the way that just the differences, I couldn't. It was I was like, I can't be bothered with this thing. I live a very particular experience, and I'm sorry, as black people, we do. We do. We're at the bottom of the totem pole. When you are at the bottom of the totem pole, your experience is so different. Anybody who has any experience with any kind of caste system, or any kind of classification where you can be beneath someone understands that. And I'm sorry, when it comes to living the experience of a young West Indian / Canadian person living here, I refuse to call myself Canadian. Living in this country, and a female one of darker color, that makes a difference.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but when I say something to the two of you, you get it. Remember my issue last year when I called you? And it was a mess? I didn't have to explain anything to you.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's like the interesting thing where I'm just really fascinated that you at like 10 years old was like making this conscious decision as to who you wanted around you.
If you guys met my parents, you'd understand why.
No, I think that's really, because I feel for me, like, similarly, went to a white school, like a whiter school, or had mostly white people in my school, in my neighborhood. And so I didn't really start meeting a lot of black people until I moved to Montreal and went to Concordia and got involved with like CCSU and like, you know, different things on campus. And so that was kind of transformative as well, to just be like, oh, like this is really different just to have black people and also racialized people just like around me in my space, you know? And then now, so now that shift has been where like those are just the people who are like in my community, like the people who I want in my life regularly, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that like my upbringing it's very, very weird in terms of like, I grew up, I moved from Jamaica, and I left in Toronto, so it's like little Jamaica. And I lived there for a lot, and I had like really fierce, strong, like little black girl relationships, like really like transparency. We call each other in, we call each other out. Like if someone had a problem with you, we told you to your face. You never dated each other's boyfriends or girlfriends.
Girl code.
Yeah. And so then when I moved to Quebec, then I was the only black girl out of 200 people that I graduated with. And it was like really, really traumatic, like hardcore because
that's a hard shift.
And I had to always explain myself. And I remember one time I was dancing, and my friend asked me, "Do you know how to dance in a way where you don't have to move your hips, where you can just like dance normal?" And Vibes Cartel was playing,
Rude.
and I was just like, and I think the hardest part about that is I completely changed how I was dancing.
Yeah.
I changed how I was dancing, and to make her feel comfortable and to make her feel like, do other moves so that she could see that I was actually like diverse, and like I wanted to be a dancer, so I could dance all different kinds of styles of dancing. And I think they're just like being pushed. I think that's what the hardest thing is, being pushed in a corner and being by myself and having to really like understand everything, even though I didn't, because I was always trying to like understand it from a scope that like someone else. I had to explain too much, like you were saying before. Like I had to explain too much, and I was in the process losing a lot of myself in order to try to like fit some kind of code to like be like the respectable black girl. So then after that, I remember we went out to the Portland 200, and a huge fight happened between me and like my 5 other white friends who I've known throughout high school, college, university, and we all moved to Montreal. So it was this new kind of life that we were starting, and I had it was so funny because it was actually the same day that like I had my son's interview. That same outfit I wore, like I just went to my friend's house right after the interview to, turn up. And then from that moment, like we had a huge fight, and I was grabbed and like taken out the bar, and was told I was too drunk, and was just like get out of the bar, and all my friends are inside the bar and I was outside the bar. And code number 1, like as a young black girl,
like that imagery,
one of us or none of us.
One of us,
yes. Like all of us, none of us. Like one person is taken, we all bounce. Like,
if we're still in there, it's because we're in there making a mess.
Yeah. And I was really upset, and I think that they didn't understand to what level I was upset at. And I remember when they came out of the club, and they were just kind of like, didn't say anything to me, and I was waiting outside for probably like an hour. And
what?
Yeah, and I was crying, and I was like just like trying to like get myself together, and then one of the friends came and was just like really, really like out of it, and just kind of like, yeah, they're coming, like they're still having fun though, and I was just kind of like, these are not how friends should treat you.
Right.
We can do something about that if you want. We're on camera. That's not what I meant.
So we were in a taxi, and we had a Haitian driver, and I was like trying to explain the story to someone else, and I was just like, is this not racist? Like, is this not like, I don't know, like I just feel like
there's not something missing here.
Exactly. And then everyone else just kind of like, it's not racist because they weren't racist. Like they didn't see themselves as someone who was racist, or for anything they could say or do could not be considered racist. And at that point, we didn't even like have any like we didn't like have any kind of like conclusion. Like we didn't wrap anything up. Not conclusion, but what is it?
It didn't like
reflection.
End formally.
Yes.
There's no closure.
There's no closure. No, absolutely none. And we just like never ever talked again after that one.
Yeah,
like,
that's hard.
Because that's a break. You know when they say burning a bridge?
Yo.
They set that one on fire.
We never talked.
That's
They never
crazy
checked. They
to
never
me.
checked in to see if I got home from the taxi. They never, like, I could be dead by now. And that's the kind of stuff that I don't experience with like my black friendships.
And what you said about like what was really powerful for me, that the idea of like having to like lose yourself in those relationships, and I feel like in the black relationships I've cultivated in my life, especially with black women and femmes, like I have like found myself like through those relationships, and like there's like a freedom there that doesn't exist or hasn't existed for me. And so I think that's something that's really, really special, is that like we just like allow ourselves to be free and to like exist in whatever ways and to show up for each other without those like same barriers or same fears. Like, not to say that like nothing exists and everything is perfect, but I just feel like it's like it's natural.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about. I mean, I like, even though I'm saying grade 5, I made this decision to like limit myself, as some people saw it as limiting myself, but I was really trying to just like protect myself, because I was like, look, I see this getting completely worse down the line, so let me just close this off now to like things that will make sense. Because when you say something to me, I know that it's a West Indian, Jamaican born, Toronto raised, Montreal living person talking to me, and I can identify with you on multiple levels. You, same kind of thing. But when it's someone who, I'm sorry, a white girl and I don't have the same experience. A Chinese girl and I do not have the same experience. A lighter skinned Moroccan girl Algerian girls, and I did not have the same experience. We don't accept it. It's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing. It's just a thing. It's what it is in our world.
Mm-hmm. And I think it just allows us to like show up.
And that shows
in our most authentic ways.
Exactly, and it shapes our friendships. And when you are living in the world that we are living in today, Black women, we need each other. Yeah. We know nobody else has our back like other Black girls. Look, the other night I was coming home late. I wanted to get into my bed. I was tired, and I saw this Black girl and she was crying, and I stopped. And then I looked back around to see like, okay, is somebody like with her, is somebody getting her something? And then I stopped, and you know what I realized? All the other Black girls who were on the train, all of us looking various levels of tired, had also stopped. Yeah. And some of them were talking to each other, and I could tell that they didn't know each other, but they were like, what do we do? Yeah, like, let's figure out something. And then I saw that there was a friend with them, and then we all kind of just like, and made our own ways back to the city. But that sort of like solidarity, that sort of check-in, sticking up for somebody, always looking out for people, that is something that, like you said, at that club, why were you out there for an hour? Crying? And even like, if you were out there for an hour, it's because Belly, the opening scene from Belly was happening in that club. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can watch it on YouTube. The first like 4 to 5 minutes where Nas and DMX really shut it down. That's what's happening. Why is my friend outside crying? Yeah. Why am I not outside with my friend? Why is my friend outside, period, and I'm not? Like why? Because back home, I wouldn't do that. There's no.
And I feel like I've become so sensitive in ways that, like, okay, sensitive is always great. It's always an amazing thing. But I also, too, have become, like, hypersensitive in ways where even Leslie might say something to me, like, da-da-da-da. And then I'll be like, do you still want to be friends? Like, I'm like, the other day when I got this text, I was like, what did I do? Because the thing is, like, as you said, like, throwaway friendships. Like, sorry, but if you'd been somebody else, I would have been like, crazy. I kept it moving. Well, not crazy, but, like, too much. This is too much. But Tony, I know, like with you, I'm gonna make sure that I repair this because I don't want there to be bad blood between us. Right. And because I've also had to always feel like anything I said or did, I had to walk on eggshells with people, especially white people, especially white women. Like I have to I can't be myself completely. I can't say how I feel. I can't mean what I say. I can't say what I mean because, like, it might be taken another way. So I think that with that kind of like our friendship being held by a thread, I'm like, okay. So in some instances where like Black women are literally like joking with me or they're just like saying something that is actually funny, but I'm like, is this a joke? Such or whatever. Yeah. Like, are we actually cool? Like, right. We're very harsh people, and our sense of humor is golden. Yeah. But sometimes it's not taking it too far. Sometimes, but it's too far for that other person. And I think that you're traumatized too, like if you're traumatized too, I know like you're not meaning it to be like that, but then it comes out like that, and it's But you know, like as well with Black friendships, we know how important they are that we check in with each other. Yeah. You know, for me, and the thing is, before you said that to me, I had already been thinking about it. Because remember when I sent you that message? Yeah. And I was like, okay, I was ready. I was ready for it, you know, just in case because. I can't lose this friendship with you. So based on what we've just been saying, I guess it kind of like we can kind of conclude that it is in many ways easier to build relationships with Black women than it is any other person.
But I definitely feel like there's more at stake. Yes. I feel like because they're so important, because we have so few, and we have to like work so hard to really like cultivate these relationships. I just feel like it's easier to make them, but to maintain them and to really I don't know, to build on them. Yeah. I feel like you know like how they always talk about King Kong and this island and how this island has all like these great magic things. That's what a Black friendship is to me.